Boarding a Fuji-bound train in Shinjuku marks a rapid transition. In 2 hours, you leave Tokyo's sheltered sprawl for a blinding, snow-swept highland. For many travelers, making this trip in winter is driven by a single goal: securing a serene social media shot of the mountain's snow-capped peak. But reaching that quiet landscape requires pushing through the frantic pulse and physical crush of Tokyo's transit system. This table breaks down the actual cost of the excursion. Securing that single photo requires committing to at least 4 to 5 hours of round-trip transit time, paired with severe drops in temperature. To figure out if this commute makes sense for your itinerary, we have to look past the photo op and weigh the actual cultural and culinary offerings of the Five Lakes region. A winter day trip here is a high-risk time investment. Do it wrong, and you waste a crucial day of your Japan trip freezing in a crowd. The 8 crystalline ponds of Oshinohakai operate as a massive, living subterranean filtration system. Snowmelt from Fuji seeps into the earth, spending decades traveling through dense, porous volcanic rock before finally bubbling to the surface. The surrounding village reflects this deep history through its architecture. The oldest existing thatched roof folk houses are preserved here. These homes were sophisticated industrial hubs. The sprawling attics housed stacked trays for silkworm cultivation, kept alive during the harsh highland winters by the warmth of the hearth below. Experiencing this architectural and industrial history requires significant walking in the bitter cold. That is time and physical energy you cannot spend staring at the mountain's peak. Lake Yamanaka offers a different environment entirely. The visual profile here feels closer to a European alpine scene than a typical Japanese volcanic landscape. The defining feature is contrast. Pristine white plumage stands out sharply against the icy shoreline and the dark volcano looming behind. These birds congregate right at the icy edge of the water, creating a surprisingly intimate moment for travelers who step up to the shoreline to feed them. Achieving this visual payoff comes with a trade-off. You are completely exposed to brutal, frigid lake winds that will immediately test your winter gear. Fighting that external cold requires serious internal fortification. In Yamanashi Prefecture, a mandatory survival fuel is hoto. This is a heavy, high-calorie stew. It features thick, flat miso-based noodles simmered at intense heat with seasonal vegetables. The rich, savory depth of the noodles is usually paired with locally caught smelt, known as wakasagi. Their slightly bittersweet profile cuts through the heavy broth. Consuming thousands of calories of hot stew requires dedicated sit-down time and reliably induces a heavy afternoon sluggishness that halts any fast-paced sightseeing itinerary. The physical demands of the region extend right into its spiritual core, the approach to the Kitaguchi Hongu Fuji Sengen Shrine. The scale here is overwhelming. You are walking into a 1900-year-old sanctuary flanked by towering cedar trees that have stood for over a millennium. Entering requires a bracing physical ritual. You must purify your bare hands using biting, freezing snowmelt. This discomfort connects you directly to the site's original purpose. This was the trailhead where centuries of historical pilgrims began their grueling ascents up the mountain. Accessing this sacred space demands slowing down and embracing the harsh physical realities of the environment. It requires an investment of time and energy that directly conflicts with the rush of standard tourism. Ultimately, Mount Fuji is the active architect of this entire region. It produces the freezing water, it shaped the volcanic soil, and it anchors the imposing history. This flowchart helps decide if the trip makes sense. It asks, what is your primary goal? If prioritizing a quick photo, freezing transit yields a poor return. But if seeking cultural depth, exploring the winter shrines makes the freezing temperatures worth it. For over 1,000 years, the sheer mass of the mountain has continued to draw travelers to its base. The Winter Mountain rewards those who treat it as a deep historical destination. Make sure your itinerary aligns with your actual travel style so that your time and your body heat are well spent.